Okay, so this was obviously a fun one to check out. Enjoyed seeing both of you guys get pretty gritty on screen. Um, there's something interesting about the dynamics that both of your characters have in this movie, which is that you're kind of surrogate parent figures to a supporting character. Really both of you in kind of a dark and twisted way. I'd love to know a little bit about from each of you kind of the process of fleshing out that bond with your respective co-stars.
Well, it's funny. I've known Levon since he was a little kid because I'm friends with his dad. So that I brought that. I mean, I haven't seen him in many years have gone by, but I remember meeting him when he was just a little boy. So I had that sort of in my head, obviously going into this. And Levon is such an extraordinary young man, and it was such an ease to work with him, and he just fit those shoes so well in terms of like his kindness that Jack has, and his sort of tireless pursuit of his sister, and then getting his sister saved. It was yeah. He made my gig much easier, for sure, because he's an extraordinary actor.
Yeah. And then Juliette, what about you?
Esmé was so special to work with because basically there's so many complicated things that are happening in our scenes because she's scared of me, and rightfully so. I feel like I'm a viper. At any point I'll strike her. I'm trying to teach her, from my own pain and my own history. But us as people, we were comrades. You're in the foxhole together, kind of in between takes. Keep staying hydrated, trying to unfreeze your toes. They were like tiny little heaters because it was very cold. But it was really a pleasure to work with her, and I'm always happy when I have a scene partner that's just in it with me, because it's a lot of intense stuff to play.
So, obviously there's a long and great history of Westerns. I think I read, Juliette, that the first set you were ever on was a Western. Were there any particular kind of inspirations the two of you looked for to build out your characters? Juliette, I saw almost maybe some Anton Sugar from No Country for Old Men, or Jennifer Jason Leigh in Hateful Eight. I don't know. That was just my interpretation. I have no idea. I was just curious if there was anything you guys were kind of drew upon for inspiration.
Oh, that's sweet. No, I've never seen those movies, but I honestly, I actually never saw a Hateful
No
Eight.
Country's great. You should see it.
Oh wait, No Country for Old Men with Daniel
Harvey Bardem.
Day-Lewis.
No, that was their original.
Josh
It's the same
Brolin,
year.
Coen Brothers.
Yes, I saw that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress. No, I'm usually, the inspiration I have is off the page, and this was a dream part of a lifetime, and so all I want to do is make you believe me. I really wanted to make a person that barely is doing anything, but how deathly serious she is. I also feel the journey of my character, she's kind of at the end of her rope, but nobody knows it yet. I knew I was leading to what might occur, me as the actor, and also I think Cutthroat Bill knows. I think she's tired, but nobody knows that around her. And there's so much pain in her, but it's unreachable. So there's all these combination of ingredients that was so special to play on a human level. And that's the writing, it's my co-stars, and every creative department that is what's inspiring me when I'm playing somebody of such a strong nature.
Yeah, the older you get, I look at movies in the genre like The Wild Bunch and Unforgiven, and you just look at the history of these characters because they're older, like I am older now, and what comes across is their history of violence, and they've seen, when they walk into a room, they've experienced it before, and I just wanted to tap into that as I get older, in terms of the history, which gets greater and greater the older you get, but that survival that all those characters in these great westerns have had, And that's why Clint Eastwood is such a touchstone in terms of this, because he every time he's in one of these westerns, he brings such a history to his role, and you just can only imagine what this character has been through.
You know, you mentioned survival in this. I heard this was a pretty quick shoot, and I also heard it was a pretty cold shoot. So I'd love to hear a little bit about that set up in Canada in this very snowy kind of wasteland area.
It was cold. We had to, us New Yorkers and Californians had to adapt to the Canadian winter. But you look around you at the crew, and they're so used to it that it's sort of you feel a little. you gotta buck up and get with the flow of things. But no, I thought it was great. I feel like when you watch movies, the more uncomfortable the actors are, the better it looks on screen. And the pouring rain or the blizzards and all of that. It's cinema. It's nature should be a part of what you're seeing, especially in a genre like this. It's a whole nother character in the film, and you could see our breath and the horses and the breath of the nose of the horses, and it really just helps us tremendously. No matter how difficult it is, the film outlasts us and our 28 days up there in Calgary, and I think it turns out it looks beautiful.
Peter, I think I read that you were a producer on this and that you kind of got on board this project pretty early.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the process that you played in getting this to the screen in the first place.
Well, it was about 10 years. Most films have a history of a long time getting it made, and going through many iterations of it, places to shoot it. COVID locked us down for a couple of years. We were going to shoot this in Spain in 2019, and then the world knows what happened then, and then you have to regroup, and a lot of projects fell apart, and we just sort of were determined not to let this one fall apart after the world came back mask-free. And no, I read the book. Joe Lansdale wrote a beautiful pulp type novel called The Thicket, and it just popped off the page in a cinematic way, and selfishly I wanted to play Reginald Jones, being an actor, and we got Chris Kelly, did a magnificent job adapting the book into a screenplay, and Elliot Lester, our incredible director, and then, dream come true. This one right here. So it was such a joy to see it actually happen. I kicked myself. Now here talking to you, it might have been 10 years, but it feels like it was yesterday.
The production design and costume design are really wonderful in this. I enjoyed the outfits we meet both of you in. I was curious kind of about the process of getting into the look of the characters between the makeup and prosthetics, and obviously the outfits we first meet you in, both when Juliette kind of arrives in the motorcycle and you're in that full get up with the mask, and then Peter when you're in that tavern and you wreck the guy with the butcher knives. So tell me a little bit about working with the makeup department and the costume department to create the look of your characters. I'll start with Juliette first.
Yeah, this was a perfect collaboration in that all the ingredients can't be weaker. They all need to work in a harmony together. And so even the placing of the scars, that was quite a thing initially. How many, how red should it be, how weathered. But fortunately, we had some of our department had worked on The Revenant. They have vast resumes themselves of being just so good in this area. And then, but it's all trial and error initially, and we had a little test to be able to find those things. And then the costume designer was so great in knowing, she comes to the table with her own vision. For me, I love the belt with all my characters' accoutrements, like the knife and the flask and, her substances and her guns. All those things had to be part of just feel organic to the personality. For me, all of it was awkward, but then to make it have this synergy is the trick. And I was really fortunate that they put together such an incredible team. But it was exciting for me to see the character, because I never believe myself. And then I'll see it and I'll go like, hey, I think I think there's a person there that it's not me. I don't recognize it. So I was happy.
Yeah, it's beauty's in the details. And if you put on a costume and it feels like nobody's ever worn these clothes because they look so new or whatever it is, these people sleep in these clothes.
Yeah.
They live and breathe. It's an extension of themselves. And the design team did such an incredible job of the detail because you can feel it. If there's Velcro, it sort of takes you out of it. So there's buckles, and it takes a bit more time, to get suited up. But once you are in that, it just those details just really, really help out.
It is true that it was all authentic gear, like wool, long johns, not the stuff from Target today or whatever.
Right.
I bet that was comfy to wear on set.
So uncomfortable all the time.
Oh man. Now you both have to play scenes where you're essentially committing acts of torture against people. There's a scene I think where Peter is interrogating someone, and Juliette, I don't know, it's full-blown torture, but there's a guy who accosts I'm forgetting the name of the young girl. And
it's sadistic. Yes.
Yeah, you just go into him. So I was curious about, you're obviously both very nice people. Playing those kinds of scenes where you have to go to such a dark, sadistic place, really.
Well, it's funny because she's saving Lula, the character.
For sure, yeah.
She's, so it's sort of like, I love the complexity of both our characters. It's not good guy, bad woman. There's threads of both woven into each of them. And as an actor, that really appeals to me because not everybody does the right thing all the time. We make mistakes and we cross the line occasionally. And in this environment of survival and trying to save this young person, what would you do to get to that person, to save that person, at any cost, really? And the guy I torture is a real scumbag, so it's okay.
That scene was so dark. It was the last night
Right.
for me that we filmed, and it's hard. Yeah, anyway, it was very difficult to be that dark. I don't know what to say about it, but yeah, it is violent. Raising my voice and then also trying to stay in character. Yeah, I remember that night. It was really intense. I hope it plays well. So
It does.
Great.
Last question
That's
I'll
all
ask you
matters.
guys is you're both clearly very creative people. There's a lot of actors stepping behind the cameras to direct these days. Do either of you ever see yourselves trying to direct a feature in the future?
Certainly, you just have to carve out a year.
Yeah.
It's finding that time. Yeah.
I was literally wondering that about you. I feel like you'd make an incredible director.
Yeah, I could see directed by Peter Dinklage.
Yes, absolutely.
I love actors. I do,
Yes.
and I think that's like Elliot and other great directors I've worked with. They bring such an energy and a joy to the set. They're the beacon that you look to when you're feeling really tired. They always have much more energy than anybody else, and an enthusiasm, and a clear point of view about what they want. And the great filmmakers, they're already like in the editing booth while they're shooting. They can see it so clearly, and that's so inspiring for me. And if one day I do direct, I hope to be that inspiring.
I hope to be his actor in the thing. I'm developing something. I don't want to direct. I might have to out of default, but I would rely heavily on the cinematographer. But I am writing something to act in, so we'll see.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys both. Wonderful performances in this movie. I can't wait for people to see it. And thank you both for taking the time to talk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.